Hello and welcome to Dice Jesters. My name is Julie.
And my name is Dave.
And today Dave will be teaching me about the game called Azul.
Azul, yeah. I'm so excited to show this game to you. This is a game that I've really enjoyed playing myself. When I first learned about it, I was just drawn in by the cool looking artwork. I didn't know what it was about. And the first time I played it, it really surprised me how much I enjoyed it. It is a very light game, and I personally really do enjoy lighter games, so I can teach them to people that maybe don't play a lot of games. Like I play a lot with family and stuff. This has been a game that no matter who I've taught it to, they've always really enjoyed it. So I'm really excited to show it to you.
Nice.
Do you want to see what it looks like?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea to have me maybe look at it and guess what it is, because that's how I am with Lego.
Yeah.
Instead of taking the instruction book and putting it together per the instructions, I look at the picture.
Yeah.
And I like to guess how it goes together.
Okay. Do you want me just to hand you the box?
Yeah. All right. Okay. So this is Azul. Is it only a 4-player game?
It is 2 to 4 players, yeah.
Okay. Oh, there's 2 sides.
Mm-hmm.
Is there... Okay, wait, I can't ask questions. Well, not right now, I can't ask questions. It just has to be solely based on appearance. So to me, it looks like... Oh, there's more. Okay, so based off the little boards, and based off of the tiles, and the little disc, I would say maybe you lay down all of these discs. So how many are there? Like, is there 10? 11. So there's 11 discs. You lay down 11 discs, and then you distribute these little tiles onto all 11 until all the tiles are gone from the bag. And first to make what appears to look like a quilt wins.
I think it's a mosaic, but close enough.
Yeah?
Kind of, yeah. So in this game, we are drawing tiles from the center of the game, of the table, and we'll be placing these onto our own individual player boards, where you'll be trying to fill in this mosaic with these different colored tiles. And you'll score points based on how much of it you basically fill up. Like whenever you place a tile, it'll give you points, and the more tiles you have that it connects to, the more points it'll give you. But it gets tricky because you can only have one color tile in each row of that color. And there might be a point where you have to grab a bunch of one color and you have nowhere to put it, and that's where you lose a lot of points.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of like strategy in terms of what you grab and what you leave for the other players. So I'll be interested to see how cutthroat you are in this game. You're a pretty cutthroat person.
I'm always cutthroat.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't have to fill the mosaic then.
You don't have to completely fill it to win. You just have to fill it the best.
Okay. Yeah, I'm down to play. Do you want to play with some ciders? Because I have raspberry cider.
Yeah, what are we pairing it with today? What kind of cider is this?
Raspberry Cosmic Crisp cider.
Amazing. It sounds like the perfect cider to play with Azul.
Well, it was all I had.
All right, well, let's set up the game. We'll come back and let us know.
Well, we'll come back and I'll let you know how I liked it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool.
Let's do it. All right, Julie. So we are back after playing 2 games of Azul, and yes. I'm so curious. What did you think of this game?
So overall, I do really enjoy the game, and personally, if you said, hey, do you want to play again, I would.
Yeah.
But there are a few things that I don't know if you just missed the explaining with me, or if I was just not listening. But, so first off, even though there was 2 players, I didn't realize that we put 5 disc thingies down.
Uh-huh.
So that was interesting to me. And then for who goes first, I don't know why, but I expected that in these games that they would have something. Like maybe you stuck your hand into that bag and whoever drew a yellow one would go first or something like that.
Oh, like a randomizer to see who's the starting player?
Yeah, because don't hate me for saying this, but in the game Sorry, you draw a card and whoever gets the highest card goes first.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I thought that would be similar.
So I've seen a lot of... I love your idea, and I'm not going to hate on you for loving Sorry. That's all good. I've seen some really interesting things in games for like determining starting player. I think the most common thing out there is the Schwazi app. Everybody puts their finger on the phone and chooses the starting player. some other people just roll dice to figure out who's the starting player, but games have it built in where it'll say, like, whoever ate pizza last goes first, or something random.
Really?
And I'm curious if there's anything in this game. Let me take a look here.
Wait, have you actually seen a game that says if you ate pizza last, you would go first?
Not specifically pizza. I'm sure there's a game out there somewhere that says that, like a pizza-themed game.
I love that.
However, it's usually tied to the theme of the game. Like, if it's about art, it'll say whoever visited an art gallery last, or something like that.
Oh.
So if you like, as we play games, we can actually adhere to the rules of the starting player. I always just personally randomize it because that's just what I do.
No, I'd like to adhere to it.
Okay.
I didn't even know there was an option for that.
So actually, Azul does have a starting player condition. And I don't know how we probably would have randomized this anyway because I've never been here, but it says the player who most recently visited Portugal takes the starting player marker.
Do I count?
Have you been to Portugal?
No, but...
Not physically.
No, but the person who adopted me as their child...
Well, it says the player
hold up.
is...
So, my best friend's parents have, like, metaphorically adopted me as their own.
Okay.
And they go to Portugal all the time.
But, Julie, it says the player who most recently visited Portugal.
They brought me back souvenirs.
I'm sure I have a souvenir from Portugal.
I have more souvenirs.
Okay, well, the condition isn't the player with the most souvenirs that other people have given them from Portugal.
No, that makes me so excited because I have a painting that's in my living room is from Portugal.
Okay, well, you know what? Next time we play Azul, Julie, I'll let you go first. That's totally fine.
Yes.
But
none of this rock paper
in the future, I will read the rule book and we'll figure out who is the starting player based on what it says.
Okay, so my mind's blown. Is this a Portugal-based game?
Yeah, so this is the game is based on mosaics in Portugal from like
Did you know Portugal has a bunch of tiles? Like, they're all mosaics on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's based off of the... actually, you know what? I can read this introduction. It says, introduced by the Moors, azulejos, originally white and blue ceramic tiles, were fully embraced by the Portuguese when their king, Manuel I, on a visit to the Alhambra Palace in southern Spain, was mesmerized by the stunning beauty of the Moorish decorative tiles. The king, awestruck by the interior beauty of the Alhambra, immediately ordered that his own palace in Portugal be decorated with similar wall tiles. Azul brings you a tile-laying artist to embellish the walls of the royal palace of Evora. So you're putting a mosaic on the walls of this palace based on the Moorish architecture of Andalusia in southern Spain.
Well, then this game just became a lot more, like, cooler to
Thematic?
me. No,
cool. Yeah.
like, neat. Like,
yeah,
that's really cool.
I mean, I love the look of these tiles. It looks very beautiful.
Yeah. No, yeah, they do. I just thought it was a game, and now that it's mashed up to something, I like it a lot more.
Well, maybe I can do a better job. This is a good point for me. I can do a better job explaining the theme of what we're playing, like the background information to help you get into it. I just explained the rules and we just got going into the game, but I could do a better job next time.
That would be cool. Just so, especially if it has a background as cool as this, where it actually ties into history, I would be interested in that.
Okay.
So, like, if it's something that's just, oh, I came up with this game because A, B, and C, like, that's not something that I particularly need to know. But if it was something like Azul, where it was inspired by Portuguese when King Manuel I, so.
Yeah.
So that's really neat. And then the next item is how to grab the pieces. So you had a 1 in the middle, and I didn't understand what that was. And then once grabbed, I lost points.
Wait, what do you mean? You didn't understand?
I didn't realize what it was. Like, I didn't realize the significance of it in general. So we're just putting all these pieces in the middle, and then it's whoever grabs from the middle first has to take the 1, and you lose a point, but then you go first.
You're the starting player for the next round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
So you didn't catch that, or I didn't explain it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then my final thing that I can remember is that how the game ends, because I know that when we were playing, we were in the next round, I guess, if you want to call it, and I had saw that you had a row done, and I was like, what are we doing? Why are we playing another round? Isn't the game over? And you're like, no, you need a column.
Oh, I think it's the opposite. I think the row is horizontal and the column is vertical.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's whoever finishes once somebody finishes a row, then the game ends at the end of that round.
Yeah, and so I just didn't understand that. In my mind, I thought it was whoever got 5 in a row. That's like, it didn't matter whether it be a column, row, as long as there was 5 consecutive pieces.
Yeah,
it
gotcha.
would call game.
Yeah.
Because I thought it... So originally, when we originally first played our first round, because we played 2 rounds, when we played our first round, I thought it was until the tiles were gone. And then it was, okay, this is game. But then, with playing the first round, I came to find out, it's whoever gets a row first.
Yeah.
So there was that part. But then, I guess it just didn't click all the way. Because when we were playing the second round, and you had gotten a column, I thought that was game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it kept going, and you were confused why it was continuing to go when I had finished the column.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the final piece, which of course would be the final piece due to that's how you score the game, is I didn't understand the counting. Like, when you had, let's say, 2 in the column, 3 in the row, that would equal 5.
Right.
Oh, wait, no, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's 5.
Yeah, you got it right, yeah.
And so I was confused on that counting for a little bit.
Yeah, that the tile that you place counts twice. Is once for the row and once for the column, based on how many it connects to.
Yeah, I didn't get that at all. And then I didn't understand that diagonally it counts too if you get that sole color. Like, if you collect all the blues diagonally, then you would get points for that too.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either. I don't know why, but I just didn't understand the counting process. Like, I don't think you cheated or anything.
Yeah.
I just didn't get it.
So based on understanding those rules now, what are your impressions of the game? What were some things that you really liked or stood out to you?
I like that it was colorful. I like that it was interactive in a way where there were actual physical pieces that you could touch. I really like that. Well, in some games, it's just you get a meeple and you can only move that meeple.
Mm-hmm.
But this one had multiple different tiles, different colors, and there was no wrong way to win. So if I wanted to collect all the yellows, and that was my sole plan for the game, that is a possible thing. So there's multiple variations of it, which I liked. And then you could play the game one of 2 ways. You could play it for yourself, or you could play it strategically just to burn the other person. Like,
true.
I could have intentionally not really gotten things on my board, knowing that you couldn't get those things on your row.
But would you have won the game with that strategy? I don't know.
I don't know, because you would have kept losing points.
Yeah, it's true. It's interesting that there are a number of ways to play it, and picking up, even the ability to pick up on that after a couple of games is awesome. How do you feel about like the replayability of this game? Do you feel like this is a game you could play a lot, or do you think you get tired of it after a few plays?
No, I really like it. So I'm really interested with texture sometimes. And this is a game that I wouldn't mind continuously touching all the time. Like, continuously moving the pieces or, like, getting it set up. It's easy to set up. It's easy to teach somebody else. I really like it.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, I love games that when you touch the pieces, it feels satisfying. And for me, like, just putting my hand in the bag to draw all those pieces out, and they kind of look like Starburst or something, which is cool.
Yeah, and I like just being able to look at your board and just like, ha ha ha, I see that there's 5 blues and you can't put 5 blues anywhere.
Yeah, there were some interesting moments in the games that we played where I saw this very dark side of you come out, where you were looking at my board and thinking like, and you would grab a color that would give me a lot of a color that I didn't need, so they would all fall to my floor, and I would get all these negative points, which is what happens in the game.
Right.
And a couple moments that really surprised me, because you don't really normally seem like a super cutthroat person, but you were really out to get me in this game. Like, and then there was a moment where I was curious if you were going to end the game because you almost had enough pieces in a row to end it, and I was like, I might end it on this turn or this round. And you said, I'm going to keep it going because I want you to feel as much pain as possible. Or something like that. Do you remember that? I was like, where did that come from?
I just
Thank God, Julie.
To win, Dave.
You do.
I do.
So if you were to give this a rating of like
Meeples?
let's do. Should we do a score of 5 or 10 out of 5 or 10? What do you think? Is out of 5?
Too much.
It is.
5 and 10 is basically the same.
You're right.
Because there's still a middle in both.
True. So if you were to rate this game out of 5 meeple, how would you rate this?
That's hard because I feel like 5 meeple means that it's perfect in every way.
But can any game ever be perfect? If not, then what's the point in having 5 meeple? You know what I mean? This is a whole rabbit hole.
That's very true. No, in school, they never gave us 5. They always gave us out of 4.
Yeah.
Because if they gave us out of 3, you could rate it a 2, and they didn't like that.
Yeah.
But anyways, out of 5 meeple, I like the colors. I like the score. You know what? I will give it a 4.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that I don't consider it to be perfect, and this could just be a me thing, but scoring was a little difficult for me.
To wrap your head around?
Yeah.
But now that you understand the scoring, do you feel like that would increase your enjoyment of the game if you were to play it again?
Oh, I enjoy the game even if I lose. I think it's still an enjoyable game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 4 out of 5, and we can do half. We can do 4.5. But would you still keep it a 4 out of 5 if you could do?
Just keep it at 4.
4. I would agree. I think for me this is a 4 out of 5 meeple. It's a game I'm happy to have in my collection. Like I said, it's really easy to teach people. It's pretty quick. We played around 2 rounds in an hour or something.
Just about.
Yeah. I love the strategic nature of it. Like you said, each game I can sit down and think, I'm going to try to fill in all the colors. Like the last game we played, I was focused on trying to get as many columns as I possibly could. The vertical ones where you get 7 extra bonus points per one.
Yeah.
So I was trying to do that. And then, yeah, you can be cutthroat. I think it's more cutthroat. I've played this game with 2, 3, and 4 players.
Okay.
I think I like it most at 2 because you can really look at the other person's board and figure out like the back and forth and calculate your moves. Like if I grab this, then there'll be 3 moves left in this round, and then she might take that, then I take this, and you kind of like, it's easier to figure that out. And I think with 4 players, it just becomes more of like focused on yourself, which according to like what kind of game you like, I would play it at any player count, but I think 2 is my favorite. But yeah, really enjoy it. So is this a game you might want to do the 10x10 challenge with me with?
What is what is that?
So the idea is that you have 10 games and you'll play them all at least 10 times. The difficulty is a lot of times in this hobby, there's a tendency to buy new games and then you'll only play it a couple times and then move on to something else. But the idea behind it is that you have a chance to really explore different strategies and everything the game has to offer. So what do you think? Should we do it with this game?
Oh, we can for sure do it with this game because I'm 100% gonna win.
You're gonna win. What does that mean? Like you're gonna win the 10x10 challenge? Like you're gonna win
I'm
more
gonna
games
win
than
the
me?
10x10 challenge.
I don't think so. But
Yeah,
we'll
because
see.
all right, we'll see.
Well, we'll go play the game at least 10 times, and we'll come back and tell you what we think.
So we're back from the 10x10 challenge, which is actually our 16.
16 challenge. We played the game 16 times total.
Yeah, because it kept going back and forth. I would win, you would win, and it kept going. And then I finally said, all right, whoever wins by 2. And then you finally won by 2. And then I flipped the board over.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, what is this?
The other side.
And I was like, I would win on this side. And you were like, no, I don't think that makes sense. And then we played it and I won twice.
So what is the other side? What is that like?
I really like the other side because I relate it to chess. So
Interesting.
when I look at that board, just because all of it's blank and you can choose where you want to put the tiles in those little areas or whatnot, when I'm looking at it, in my mind, I go, okay, so this color, this color, this color, and then I set the pattern out. But then when I play, I don't let you see what I'm doing until it's too late.
I looked over at your board and it looked confusing because you weren't, I was trying to line tiles up to get points like in a row or column, but you had them scattered. But then by the end, it was perfectly filled in. Like, oh my God.
Right. By the end, it had creeped up on you where I had rows and columns and just everything everywhere.
Yeah. So who won those 2 games?
I won those 2 games.
Of the other side. So as of now, though, if we incorporate those sides, Julie, we are 50-50. I've won 8 games and you've won 8 games.
I mean, that's valid, but if you look at best score, I somehow got 111.
My best score was 89, and your best score was 111. However, my average score was 58.15, and your average score was 53.46.
Those were the times I went easy on you, so you would still play with me.
So the other side of the board, though, was interesting because it, like, changed the feel of the game for me. Before, like, with the side with all the colors already there, it was strictly about looking at the pieces, figuring out which ones I wanted to take, which ones you were trying to take, and going back and forth, calculating the number of moves, how to leave you with all the tiles that would fall to your floor. We did a lot of that. When you flipped it over, I almost didn't pay attention to what you were doing whatsoever because it broke my brain. I was trying to figure out how to position them, and I still didn't do it right. Like, the first time we played it, I cornered myself, and I realized, like, oh, shoot, I need to pay attention to where I'm putting these because I could end up in a situation where I have nowhere to put these colors. And you zoomed ahead on the point track. And then the second game, I was like, okay, I'm going to try to do it in the similar way as the other one where they kind of go in diagonals. But then I realized, oh, shoot, you can't, like, do it perfectly because there might be one with two, and then you have to figure out where to put the other one. And it just became two games for me. One of, like, trying to get the tiles I needed, but then two of actually figuring out how to efficiently put the colors on my board in a way that made sense. So it was like a puzzle within a puzzle, and my brain hurt by the end of it. I was like, this is very crazy, but you won both of them because apparently your brain just thinks that way and mine doesn't.
Because I created the picture. So I took note of each tile and what it looked like. And then in my mind, I had looked at the top and bottom, how it's 5x5. So there's 25 tiles.
You're hurting my brain right now.
So then I had to fill in the 5 different colors into each of those. So then I created the picture, and then I just mimicked the picture that was in my mind.
So you were staring at the board for like 3 seconds before we started. You started playing. Did you calculate all of that within just a few seconds?
I did, because
Are you a machine?
Am I real? Am I AI? Yeah, this is all a lie. No. So what I did was, you know what? I'm not going to tell you what I did.
Yeah.
No,
I almost just manipulated you into giving me your strategy.
You wouldn't, I honestly, even if I told you, I feel like you would be like, what? And then it would make you overthink even more.
Smoke would be coming out of my ears as we sat playing Azul, this super easy, light game. But you likened it to chess, and I thought that was really interesting. So when growing up, you played a lot of chess.
Yeah.
So you sat down, you looked at the chessboard. How was this a similar experience where is it just that you mapped out all of your moves and you knew how it was going to play out?
Yeah, so I play aggressive. And while we played Azul, I kind of do the same thing. I play aggressive. And you play more like defense or offense.
Yeah.
But your offense is very mild, I guess.
Yeah.
While mine is very forthcoming, like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So with chess, that's how I am. So I look at the board, I examine the player that I'm playing against, and I analyze their personality. And then with that, I, in my mind, categorize them as what player they may be.
Okay.
So after doing that, I look at the board and I go, okay, as an aggressive player...
You almost said individual.
How would I do this? And I plan all of my moves in that first little waiting period. So within however long that takes, I plan all of them. Like, I plan my moves, I plan your moves, and I pick 2 different scenarios for my opponent. So let's say I move my pawn forward twice. I'm like, okay, they're going to move their pawn here and or move their knight or this, and that. And this is how I would counteract that. And I have that set in stone in my mind. So I play so aggressive that I move really, really quick. So when I play with people, they're confused by my playing style because in their eyes, they have openly expressed to me, they said they didn't understand my playing style. They said that I didn't have a strategy or anything like that, but I did have a strategy. I just play so quickly you don't catch on. Like, you move, and then I move instantly. Like, I move within the same time you move.
Yeah.
So, with Azul, I mapped out my strategy from the beginning, and then that's why I grab the pieces quick.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm trying to get you to move quick so I can move quick without you having a chance to realize what I'm doing.
Yes.
So I think long story long, that's my
strategy.
Yeah. Is if I can play quick, I'll win.
Okay.
If I get slowed down, I forget my whole map.
So, follow-up question. You say that you play quick, but the other player has control over how fast they move. Like, you could play quick, but then I could take my time analyzing and stuff. Do you feel like by playing quick, that makes the other person feel like they have to play quick? Or what's your strategy? Like, how does playing quick affect the other person, do you think?
Yeah, so I think it goes multiple ways. When I move quick, you kind of moved quicker. Like, when I had grabbed it fast, you didn't grab it as fast as me, but you kind of moved a little faster than you usually did.
Yeah.
And or if you're not moving fast enough and I get annoyed, I start to distract you. I'll talk about my board, just like, oh, wow, why'd I put a blue there? Or, oh, I grabbed the wrong one, and then now you're paying attention to me, and I'm all like, oh, well, I hope I could grab this one, and then you're kind of distracted, so then you just kind of grab whatever, because now you're just trying to get me to stop talking.
You play a lot of mind games.
Is this not game boards?
Yeah, absolutely, but it's interesting. I think what's interesting about bringing you and introducing you to this hobby is having played a lot of chess and having that very strategic mind. It'll be really interesting to see how you play these styles of games, because there's so many different ways that you can play, and it'll be interesting to see your approach, not having been a factor, not really knowing much about the hobby, like somebody who's played a lot of games, or even people who haven't played any games. They have a different playing style, but you have like this chess mindset, so I'll be so intrigued to continue playing games with you.
That's a good point. No, that's a really good point, because I do look at it from a chess point of view.
Yeah.
Like, I think my brain, although I want to say I'm creative and flexible and out of the box, I don't think that's really true. Now, after having this conversation, I think I relate it all back to chess. And I fit it into chess. And when I can't fit it into that, like, game mindset, it's harder for me to understand games or comprehend games.
Yeah. So interesting. So, Julie, this is a whole... I feel like we could keep this discussion going for so long. Like, personalities, playing style. I'd be curious to have you psychoanalyze my play style sometime. But I'm curious to know, after us playing the game 16 times, how do you feel about Azul? Has your impression changed of it? What do you think today?
Yeah, so I originally rated it 4 meeples because I didn't really understand it. Well, I didn't understand the scoring.
Yeah.
But then after I started understanding the scoring, it was easier for me to map out what I was going to do. So now I love it. Like, if you ever go, oh, you want to play Azul? 9 times out of 10, I'll say yes.
Yeah.
That one time I say no, it's probably just because I'm doing something else or we have to do something else. But I really like it. So I would say it's 5. And
what?
I love the Portugal part because we're going to change up the rules a little bit, and it's going to say whoever has the most souvenirs from Portugal.
Oh, yeah, whoever has the most souvenirs from Portugal will go first.
And that's it.
I think a couple of things for me. Having played the game 16 times with the same person has been a really cool experience, because for me in general in the hobby, when I get a game I'm excited about it. Before us playing a lot of games together, I had friends that I played games with that were casual gamers or family, but I would introduce them to a game. We'd play 1, maybe 2 times tops, and then never play that game with that person again. Or every time I'm playing, I'm reteaching the game, and never had a chance to really explore games to the depth that I wanted to.
Yeah.
So it's been cool playing the game 16 times with the same person to learn their playing style, and it's evolved over time. And I would say I would still rate it about a 4 out of 5. So my impression hasn't changed. I still love the things I loved about it when I taught it to you, of how quick the turns are, how simple it is, but how much depth there is in this very easy to teach game. But it's easy to teach, but it is tricky. The scoring and everything is a little bit wonky to wrap your head around. But once you've got that, I think the game has very little luck. You have luck of the tiles that come out, but all of the tiles in that bag will come out at a certain period in time. So it's about maximizing the turns. Like, do I grab these pieces now, or do I wait for another round where there's 4 that come out at the same time, or wait for that? So you kind of have to think about that. But I just love as well how the game progresses, and there's a sense of this progression where in the beginning of the game you place one tile out, you get 1 point. You place another one out, maybe you get 2 points. And then by the end you're placing a tile and you're getting like 10 points in some instances, where it feels like these really satisfying turns, like you've mapped everything out. And then when you get those columns and rows and get those bonus points at the end, or even better, when you fill in a color,
that's what I try to do the most.
The 10 points, that is so satisfying. So I really like, I would say 4.5 out of 5. Now that I'm talking through it, I'm getting excited. Like, I want to play it again. I rate a game based on how excited I am to get back and play that game again. And Azul in the past was one I could like take it or leave it. It was fun. I liked teaching it, but I was ready to play something else. With, like you were saying, anytime you wanted to play Azul, I would bust it out. We could play it. And I think for me, what's also made the experience fun is we've discovered Mellow Dice, this website where you can put in any board game. It has a whole people put playlists in there, and we found the playlist for Mellow Dice for Azul. And I've just really gotten into that. The music on that playlist. We've repeated a few songs several times. Me.
It's okay. I like listening to it.
And I also love how this game is carried over. Even when we're not playing, I feel like you and I are like messaging when we're at work, like back and forth, like, oh, I can't wait to play Azul tonight, and really crush you. You know, you're going down. Like, it's turned me into a more competitive person. I feel
like thing that I had messaged you about Azul was, I forgot what you had talked about. Oh, but I did say that I was gonna crush you or something like that.
Yeah.
And then at the end, oh wait, no, you said I'm bold when you were just like, I'm gonna win because I'm bold or something, and I was like, no, I'm bold, Mr. Italic. Yeah, and then I said Leedle Leedle Lee.
Yeah, which was one of the songs from the playlist. Oh, it's just so good. I think what's really interesting to me in general is I started this, and you said that I have more of like a defensive or a less aggressive play style. And I wonder if that has to do with my personality or because of the people that I've played with. So like my family and people I've played around tend to be less confrontational or aggressive. And when I play that way and they lose, there's like an emotional aspect where maybe they didn't have as much fun. And me being the kind of person that I am, I always like people to have a good time. Yeah. So when I'm teaching somebody a game, I might take like less optimal moves to try to like get them closer to winning so that they end up having a good time, or maybe I want them to win so they want to play again. So I might I wouldn't say intentionally lose, but I might take a way different strategy, like a weird thing that I would never normally do.
Oh no. Don't ever do that with me. I want you to demolish me. Yeah. Because then I'm just going to remember exactly what you did, and then I'm going to bring it back.
Yeah. So dark. But with you, I feel like you're bringing out this more competitive side of me that's more aggressive in play style. It is interesting to see our two aggressive styles kind of going head to head. But we don't end it like mad at each other. We kind of like, we'll talk smack throughout the game and joke around and laugh, but neither of us are upset. It's just part of the fun of the game. So I think you're my ideal gaming partner. So I'm really excited to play all these games with you.
Aw. Well, you're my ideal gaming partner as well.
So, Julie, and I'm glad to hear that, by the way. Thank you.
Of course. But yeah.
The big question is are we going to keep it to play or trade it away with Azul?
Keep it to play or trade it away? Oh, we're going to keep it to play, Dave.
We're going to keep it probably forever, I feel like. We're going to keep playing this.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Thanks for showing me Azul.
Yeah, thank you so much. And that is all for this week. We would love to hear from you, so feel free to reach out to us at thedicejesters@gmail.com or on Instagram at dicejesters. Be sure to join us next time for our next in-depth look at a game, and until then, play all the games with the ones you love.